You are now listening to Rich Rants and Real Shit, hosted by Rich Really Out Here. It's the moment you all been waiting for, wasn't it? Your weekly dose with your favorite host, Rich Really Out Here. It's your boy Richard, aka Ronnie D, aka Puerto Rican Ronnie, aka Brown Skin Bobby, aka Bobby the Builder. You already know what the fuck going on. Today I got a couple special guests with me here on the show. We don't got no repeats this time. Everybody's brand new. So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi everyone, my name's Katrina.
AKA?
AKA
Trash Girl.
Trash Girl.
Oh
shit! I was going to take it.
I don't know if I want to interrupt the intro to tell the story of why she's Trash Girl, but she did dig in the trash can the other day to get her braces out. So yeah, her on this line.
Thank you.
Never works, man. My name is Abby.
AKA?
AKA Super Abs.
AKA?
Yeah. I don't have another one.
Oh, well, damn. All right.
That's good.
Super Abs.
Yo, what's up? My name's Christian.
AKA?
Mailman.
AKA?
Mailman.
AKA? Oh.
Are you really a villain?
No.
He just be delivering in packages. Hey.
I always just deliver.
Okay, today we're going to talk about, for the people who are watching or listening, we have an eclectic group of people here today. Your boy is Nigerian American and also regular black, parentheses. My mama from Louisiana, my daddy from Nigeria. Katrina is fresh off the boat from the Philippines.
Literally got off yesterday, so we out here.
And Ellie, where your parents and stuff from?
From El Salvador, but I'm from here.
Gotcha.
America.
And here is where? We don't know.
I just said it. America.
Los Angeles.
Oh,
for the people who ain't, And then
I'm a mix of French and Spanish and a little bit of like Arabic and Middle Eastern.
my man.
Got that Latin mix.
All right.
Nice.
So the reason why I try to get such an eclectic group today is because we're going to be talking about how different cultures, backgrounds, races, whatever, look at interracial dating, and a lot of times families have that old school mentality of they want you to stay within your race or not date certain races and stuff, and just talk about that and if our personal families will be okay with it. And my mama started off with my mama, she ain't really got no judgment. She with it all. I can bring home a white girl, black girl, Chinese girl. It don't matter. She don't really care.
She's like, damn, you brought a girl home.
Well, yes, but not in terms of like surprised as a girl, just happy that we'll put that out there. No, but yeah, she wouldn't be tripping off whatever race the girl is. We're just ready to embrace, whoever wants to join this family.
That's awesome.
That's good.
I have a girl here. Okay, let me not start. But go ahead. Go ahead.
So me, honestly, like my boyfriend is.
Oh wait, sorry. I just cut you away. Oh,
What?
I'm sorry.
What's up?
Because I didn't finish mine.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I bring up my mama because I was raised by her. My dad, he's Nigerian too, and he's told me a couple times like, "Oh, you're a Nigerian girl." But we don't really talk about girls like that because I don't talk to him that much.
Yeah.
And my mama gonna meet the girl and stuff first. They've already met. But it matters what she thinks more than him because I was raised by her and I talk to her about more.
So it's like you want her opinion.
Yeah,
like it's more important.
He can meet her when we already engaged. Nothing's gonna change. But yeah, my mama, shout out to you, mama, is the one that matters. So sorry, my babe. Go ahead, your boyfriend is what about?
My boyfriend's half black, half Mexican, and really like my family doesn't really mind. It's just more so like there's so much it's so deep. I feel like in my family because I used to date girls in the Philippines.
Oh, really? Tell us about that.
Stop. I just dated girls back in the Philippines because I went to all girls school and I feel like it was just I was just exposed to that more so, and then I moved to America and I'm like.
And she was happy she
brought
a boy home. Like, okay.
Oh yeah. So but then they're more strict about the fact that I could get pregnant. Like they're more so they don't care about the race. They're more so you can get pregnant with a guy, but with the girls before, you were all good. You could almost live with her,
But they're cool with anything.
They're cool with anything. Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
So they're very open to
race or gender doesn't matter to your family.
Yeah, be good.
Well, it's 2018. Race or gender is.
No, I said.
Right.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding.
oh yeah, I was about to say then. We doing that already?
I think that's a whole different topic.
Oh, that shit is a whole hour-long special right
it's
here.
an hour and a half, man.
And what about you and your boyfriend?
Oh my god.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so my boyfriend is one part black, Native American, and Cuban.
How are these parts divided? Is this like a cake?
It's not a cake, so I don't even know how it's like 30, 33, 33, 33. No, I mean, I wouldn't know.
I'm playing with you.
Okay, cool. Just like, but my parents, like I said, they were born and raised in El Salvador. They are super traditional. They're also Pentecostal, so they know that I have a boyfriend, but they don't want to meet him. Yeah.
Wow. Because they know he's black?
I think so.
Or is it more so he's not Salvadorian? Or is it like...
Yeah, if he was,
well,
if he was
yeah,
like,
I
white.
think it's just because of that whole language barrier. They
Oh.
don't know,
Okay.
you know, they don't know English like that. Like I had told you guys before the
Uh-huh.
show, they don't know English. They understand it, but they won't have a conversation with someone, you know. So I did bring another guy home beforehand, and my parents just didn't like him. We didn't approve of him, and he was just full black. And
Oh, so you have a thing for a black guy?
I do.
Okay.
I love blacks.
Once you go black.
I love it. Exactly.
Yeah, someone had to say it.
Looking out.
But yeah, it's difficult. Anyway, next.
Currently, I am in the dating world. I'm single, but last girl that I guess I'm currently dating right now, she's actually a mix of like Salvadorian and like Mexican.
Hey.
So it's that Hispanic mix.
I know what that's about. And for the people who don't know, I keep looking off camera, but it's somebody special sitting over here. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
But for me, I mean, I've dated all types of girls, and you know, everyone has their own opinions or different viewpoints. For me, it's more so like if I'm gonna date a girl, you know, I've got different qualities I look for instead of like race or religion.
Yeah, for sure.
Now it's a little cultural and like, you know, some people don't even look at race anymore; they look at religion.
Yeah.
Like I mean, Armenians don't date outside of Armenians, or like you know, Jewish want you to stay with Jewish. You know, keep the blood in the family.
Yeah.
That's so interesting to me. Just like, you know, like how like people really want you to like your family even just want you to go for like a certain.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, I was raised by my mother, and they have that very European mindset, like, you know, stick with what you know, like, be what, you know, because all my family's from, like, France and Spain, so they're like, you know, keep it within the family, keep it within, like, I'm from a little small town, like a little village called the Pyrenees, it's Basque country, so they're like, you know, keep the blood within the blood.
But how would you find somebody from there in LA? Like,
Oh yeah, but that's, yeah, my mother, anyways, a little more story, my mother moved out to America, she's like the black sheep of the family. All my family lives out there.
all
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, so it's a little different. Like her eyes have been a little more broad and open to see, like, you know, you're in a different, you know, land of opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll tell a story here about the love that I lost before it even started.
You.
Back in 2000. Okay. So back in 2013, I had an apartment. Me and one of my old friends, we had an apartment together, and there was this store up the street, Smart & Final. I don't want to get too specific because, you know, I'm probably like 20 minutes away from it right now. But anyways, we lived in Lincoln Heights, and there was a Smart & Final there, and there was this lovely young lady who worked there. She was Mexican, and eventually, you know, I got her number and tried to court her, you know. And I think I took her out to the movies once, and then, you know, being that we lived literally around the corner from each other, I was trying to always get her to come over. Like, if I'm off, you off, or we both start work late and we have the mornings off, like, just come over, come chill, whatever, you know. And she couldn't. Like, every time I would be like, oh, can you come over? Well, she couldn't. I'm like, what the fuck? So eventually I kept, you know, I'm black. So I threw the race card out there. I was like, is it because I'm black? And she would keep saying no, like, no, it's not because you're black, blah, blah, blah. One day, it all came to the light. And I was joking with her, and she was like, okay, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, it's because you're black. And then I was like, what the fuck? So I started lying and saying I was Dominican and Cuban, and no, I'm
Oh, is that what it is?
No. That's not how I got Puerto Rican Ronnie. But I couldn't do nothing about it because she was, you know, I was 23, she was 19, she lived at home, I live alone or with, you know, out on my own. So if your parents tell you can't be with me, you can't really fight that because what if they like kick you out or whatever? You know, I don't know what they're gonna do to you. I could just be like, can you come over? Like, I don't have no parents to listen to at that point, like, because I'm grown. But I thought it was messed up that, like, I was genuinely just trying to make their daughter happy and spend time with her and, you know, just have a relationship, and they wouldn't let me even get a fair chance of trying because I'm black. And it's like, it ain't my fault I'm black. It's cool and all at times. But stuff like that mess it up for you. And it's like, I feel like in the hood is it's like a big back and forth because a lot of times, you know, you go to like a hood school, you'll see light skinned girls, and what are they most of the time? Black and Mexican. They're not black and white because not a lot of white people in the hood. And you'll see Blasian kids too, like, you know, your sister's Blasian, right? Hey, let's put it out there. But you know, you'll see that, but it's like then you'll have the ones who their daughter or son might like black girls or black guys, and it's like they like nope, don't bring one of them home, or I don't know how they say it, but they say don't.
I feel like I just couldn't get like coming from me because I've never experienced it or never like have known someone whose parents are like so like what you're saying.
I was actually gonna say my parents in middle school when we
like,
did
what do
move
they
here.
say?
We used to live in a mostly like Latino place, and then once we moved a little bit more South Central, one of the first things they said was like, "Don't you come like bringing."
They told you.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, "Don't bring a nigga."
And at the moment, at the time, well, the predominantly Latino school was only made up of like one black student and one teacher, one black teacher. So when I came to King and like by Crenshaw, it's like
you were surrounded by the black.
Yeah. So I was like, no, I was brought up actually to like not really like
dang.
them.
So they would just tell you like don't mess with us, or like
don't.
Would they tell you negative stuff about us too, or just say don't mess with us?
They would just say, hey, like this is what happened today. Like this guy just came, he robbed the store, and they had to say and he was black, and I'm like,
they plant that seed in your head early.
Yeah. But now I defend them.
Yeah.
I'm always like, why do you have to say it like that? I get really offended. Because obviously,
Close connection to the brothers.
But it's really hard.
Yeah, but how about like friends wise? Like, do they even tell you that?
I feel like they don't care about. I don't know. But I feel like I've had a lot that be like, oh, we don't care if you're just friends, but if you try to cross that line,
as soon as you cross that line, really?
Yeah, they've met a lot of my black friends. Not guys though.
Really?
Girls.
Are you scared to bring home a black friend?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll think you're messing with them?
Yeah.
What if y'all genuine with just friends though?
Well, my ex, the one that I did bring home, I'm best friends with him, and they still think I'm doing stuff with him.
Oh,
and I'm just like,
well, like black guys, you got a black
trust.
best friend, they might. No, I'm kidding, but
I'm 23, but they still don't really trust me like that. So.
That's crazy. So tell us about your past, because you must have done something that wasn't too trustworthy at some point. No. That's crazy though.
That's just another topic.
That's a whole other hour.
That's a whole other hour.
What has Gabby done in her life?
So,
Abby, my bad. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna throw this out there.
Go ahead.
My sister is actually half black.
Hey.
So when my mom came to America, I don't know, 20-some years ago, she actually broadened her horizons, and she obviously had the type, so she's into black guys as well. So so my sister is half black, and she's about 7 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
So ever since growing up, to me, I treated her the same. She's like family. So she is family. Not black.
Yeah.
Well, people separate she's your half.
Yeah. That's
I have like two.
No, she's beautiful. She's mulatto. She's turning to that age now. She's having boyfriends. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to start being some guys. I'm just like, shit. But no, she's gorgeous. She's gonna be taller. Dad's Jamaican, so he was a tall guy.
Okay. And this was with a guy out here, when she was here, right?
Yeah, when my mom was out.
Y'all don't live together, do you?
Me and my mother? No.
You and your sister?
No.
She doesn't live with you?
No, she lives with my mother. Yeah.
Oh, you don't live at home?
No.
Got you, okay. Okay, got it.
Well, does everyone live at home?
I live at home.
I got my own spot. Hey.
I'm actually looking for a spot right now.
I live at home. I'm Filipino. They don't let you.
That's the thing too.
They don't.
What are you
They-
doing here?
You want to go to it?
I want to touch into that a little more too. I'm gonna finish the black sister topic.
Yeah.
I threw it out there. No, I love my sister. But no, my mother, had that open mindset, date whoever you want growing up, in school. She's like, the most important thing, she was like, you're in school, don't worry about girls, just get your education then. She's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
No, you're good.
I was like, ooh. No, she's like, I don't care, just date whoever you want after, wait till you're 18, set a career kind of thing. But I'm going to touch into, I did have a girl that I was super into, and things kind of didn't work out, and I think it's because she did live at home. She's Russian, Armenian, different cultures or religions. They do that, Mexicans, they stay within the family, it's that whole united we stand, departed we fall kind of thing. Armenians are very known for living with your family until you
get married and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you're living with
thing.
your parents to 30, that whole ordeal. So they keep it tight. So I was dating this girl, And I was really into her, and I was like, oh yeah, she's dope. But like, I could never meet her Russian father because they might kill me. Or like, you know, like they lived at homes, like I could never go over her.
Yeah.
She never could stay over. Like,
That's fun,
like,
man.
And
That's
the
me
last
right
guy she
now.
dated before me was like Armenian, so it was like, you know, keep it within the blood. I'm like, all right, I'm trying to, you know.
Yo, and to talk about that is when I moved, when I moved away from where I was living, I promise you, like 2-3 weeks later, she was on Instagram with some Mexican dude, like a new dude. She talked quick. I was like, you must have been talking to him while you was messing with me, because this shit was fast. And she was with him for a while, and now she got another Mexican boyfriend, and the dude's like a cowboy because I've seen his Instagram.
Right,
Like a legit cowboy.
He legit on the horses with the hat and everything.
I can see it.
And I'm like, that's fucked up, because like,
I can imagine it.
I could have been your hood cowboy.
The cowboy hat.
Like, it's just crazy though, man. Like being black. I'm just kidding.
It's not just about being black.
No, it's other. It has
It's
to
a
stand
culture.
by.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a cultural
It's a
thing.
culture, definitely.
I also do understand the whole, like, when I was living with my mom, she's like, why are you trying to move out? Like, when I was, years ago when I was moving out, she's like, why are you moving out? Save money, live with me, blah, blah, blah. Do
That's
this,
the
this,
thing,
this.
that's
My
what
mama
they
was
bring
the
out.
opposite.
So,
She was trying to kick me out at 18. Like, you better get a job. It's quick.
That's
Like with black
awesome.
people, no,
That's how it
you're
is.
not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, even no, you think you're not ready, but you are.
You're not.
Like,
They push it and
I'm
you're
gonna
ready.
tap into that. This is a whole different
No,
subject.
it's fine. It's fine.
But it is like, it's kind of like a wake up call. Like when I first moved out, I was like, oh damn, I gotta pay rent, car insurance, I got all this. You set a whole new level of expectation.
Oh, yeah.
Like a new hustle. Like,
And-
oh dude, I gotta make like X amount of dollars a month. I gotta do
Yep.
this.
Is
And
it
it's
right?
kind of good in a way and
Mhm.
refreshing. But yeah. My mom was like, she'd still want me to move back, and I was just like, no, you have problems, come home. Like, the girl broke your heart, come over.
I can see if like at like 18, this is totally off topic, but whatever, we'll go back to it. If at like 18 they tell you, okay, you're graduated from high school now, either you're gonna go to college, you go to school, go to college or go to school or get a job, and then they let you stack up for like 2 years, you're just saving up all the money living at home, and then say, okay, you're 20 now, you got a dip, or 21, cool, but not at 18. It's like, I'm fresh out of high school, I ain't even had a full-time, I don't even know what it's like to work a full-time job yet,
Yeah.
and where I'm gonna have the money that you just expect me to have, and the responsibility you expect me to have, that come with time, like over working jobs and different stuff. Don't just kick me out.
Well, that falls into like the whole American dream.
Yeah.
That fixated mindset of like when you're 18, you move out, you become your own young adult kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's
Absolutely
all
hard
like,
to do.
a big lie or a wrongly painted picture.
Why are you just looking at me like that? I was trying to figure out. No. Katrina, I was trying to figure out what were you going to say about being Filipino and home forever.
No, I just think, well, like with my, like the relationship I am in, it's like, it's so hard because I'm always the one coming over to my boyfriend's house because he would come, like he's been to my house, Thanksgiving, Christmas, but definitely like special occasions. Like it's not like he can come and just chill
That's
at my house.
in the daytime, like oh, just come over. He can't.
Is that because like your parents set that precedence or like you don't?
Oh, you got to break down. You live with your auntie.
I live with my aunt, but
Okay.
she's basically like
She-
she's basically like the person who's like looking after me and my sister. So I feel like it's more so
a respect thing for you?
like for her, she just doesn't like she's fine with the boyfriend. She's like do whatever you want, but not in the house, kind of thing. Which I respect because she's
Totally.
and then like my boyfriend respects it as well and he always tells me because like like I vent to him. I'm like, dude, this like I'm 23, I make my own money. He's like, but you live at home, Katrina. So and I'm like, all right. You got a point, you got me there. So then, like, I work with it because she's providing she's providing a home for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't go against that unless I say, you know what, I can make it on my own. I'm gonna go.
I mean, that's one of the big reasons I moved out. And, like, my mother was always like, my roof, my rules. Kind of thing.
Exactly.
I don't think I've ever brought a girl home except for like once. Just because of like that whole respect thing. I never had like a girl come over, stay over, like closed door kind of thing.
Same.
And then that was like a big thing. Like when I moved out, I was like, yeah, I just want to like bang chicks, mom. Like
you want to do, like you want to do.
You want your own space, your own
yeah.
privacy, your own freedoms. Like you don't want to wake anyone up at 2 a.m. or if you
That's
come home.
true.
So like, Just the doors.
Doors closed. Like,
Yeah.
You want to make a case of you in your underwear too. Or
naked, just
or
like,
naked. Yeah, you got a girl chilling. Like,
Yeah.
you know, freedoms like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
24. Okay.
He's single, but he's not black, so I don't know where you going with this. But,
Oh my god!
I'm kidding.
No, it's because because I'm at that stage where I think I am definitely ready to move out, but my parents are obviously
Against it
because they want me to move out once I'm married as well. Same thing.
Oh, you're married?
No, once I'm
I
married.
thought you said I'm married. I was like, oh.
No, I said once I'm married. But at this time, like, there's 5 people in the house. There's about to be 6. My brother's girlfriend is pregnant. She's about to be due, and I'm like in this, time
You want that freedom,
frame.
that privacy.
Yeah, exactly. I have no type of privacy. I like live in the living room.
Yeah.
It's just like everyone's just passing by.
My whole I know a couple people like that. Like one of my I'm in a band, so one of my bandmates is actually dating a girl, and like that's the whole same thing. And it's like if you can afford it and you feel like you're stable enough to do it, then do it, because it's one of the most like refreshing, like free feeling things.
It's just like liberating.
Yeah, it's liberating. I mean, and it also is like a next step to like adulthood. Like it also gives you the freedoms to do whatever you want, and like. You may be, I don't know how close you are with your family, but you may miss them, but I mean, you literally can always just go visit, like, and it makes, for me, whenever I go see my mother, I leave town a lot, so I see her, like, every couple months, like, whenever I go see her, like, that's a moment that, like, we cherish, like, it means a lot more, instead of, like, seeing them every day. So, yeah.
I'll definitely, put that in my thought box.
Yeah.
It's also something you should think about in research, too, because when I moved out, I was like, damn, now I'm spending, money.
Like you have that responsibility.
You really don't know. Like when I first got my place, like when I first got my first house with some roommates, it was like, oh damn, like I had to buy a whole bunch of like kitchenware, like everything. Like you buy toilet paper. Like these are just things you don't like think about, like how good you have it when living at home. So like over the years, I'm just like, oh yeah, like all that stuff comes natural now. But like when you're first on your own. Like you got like one plastic cup and one plate, like in
one set of utensils.
One set of utensils. Like
just gonna wash it every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh Lord.
But no, that gives you your freedom to be with your man. Like if your parents don't like accept that fully, like you have that privacy, and like over time, like your parents will probably appreciate it more and like grow like. Oh, we don't see you that much, and as long as you're happy and it doesn't matter what race, like they'll start to like embrace and grow on that.
I believe that still, yeah. I do have 3 older sisters though, and I'm really like grateful for them because they've always told me, I'm the youngest, right? So I have 3 older sisters that are above. Family of 5. I have an older brother too, yeah. They're all my parents, so they're always giving me advice.
They got a comfortable bed.
They did.
Wait, what? That's always though.
That's you too, though. That's your girl.
You're 23. I'm 23. Is your favorite color yellow? Yes, it is. Anyway, sorry about that. What was I saying?
You have.
So they've always
sisters,
said. They've always said that I've had it better. They've never even brought guys home when they did. When they were dating. So. They said that the simple fact that they accepted someone to just come over is already a huge step. So, they're always, giving him advice and saying, be a little bit more patient with her because this is like the 21st century and she's 23. And so I'm really, really grateful that they are there because if they weren't there, I think they would be even worse. Worse strict.
Now it means a lot more.
Caring.
When my mom's like, oh, you dating that girl? Like, you guys like a thing? I'm just like, Mom. Like,
calm down.
So it'll mean a lot more. Like if you do move out or in the near future, if you decide to, it'll be like they'll grow with the like, oh, that's our little girl. She's growing up. Like we want to still have her in our lives. We have to appreciate or accept anything she wants to do or believe in, and that'll just be something that comes in time.
And way back to something that was connected to a past topic in the beginning is religion, like
Yes.
not just race, because I was talking to one of my coworkers, Casey, and he said that his parents didn't even come to his wedding because his wife wasn't the same religion as them.
Oh, really?
So that's even deeper than being. Well,
Yeah.
well, it's up there with it. It's like, damn, like they should be able to be any race and any religion.
Yeah.
You still accept them. Like,
No.
I feel like 8 years.
But then, like with me and my boyfriend, we've talked about it. Like we like touch into the subject. It's like, okay, like someday when we get married, he's Christian. I'm like super Catholic. Like my whole life I was in Catholic school.
Oh.
Like, but now like I'm not really close to that. Like,
it's fine.
like which is fine.
Did they
But
kick
then
you out of the church after the lesbianism?
no, it was all in Catholic school.
What are you doing
all
with that
girls,
nun over
baby.
there? Nun Mary, what are you doing up there?
She was coming with the nun.
But like we talked in it. I was like, my family would most likely want me to have like a priest, like like an actual church wedding, and his side is like Christian, so like pastor. And then I was like, how would we do that? Like when we get to that point, he's like, honestly, my family's like his family is closer to like he's like super Christian.
And his
So
name
it's-
is Christian.
And his name is Christian. That's right. Christian. So, I mean, I guess we'll get to that point.
But-
I feel like I would most likely probably just kind of,
Do the Christian way.
do the Christian way because
Okay.
I personally don't care.
Yeah, you
it's just my family.
You just have that compromise. And
Yeah.
your family
Because like
will
if you're,
understand it too.
if you're together, I feel like there's so many things you have to compromise on. There's so many differences, especially with me and him. Like literally everything.
So you're marrying this guy. You're ready.
Or you
Not-
let's talk
not-
about that. Do you think? Yeah. What?
Not right
thinking-
now. I'm for sure.
thinking
Like,
about
We're
marriage
talking
already.
about it. I mean, so
yeah, but like
obviously-
he's the guy, of course, that I see myself with.
Hmm.
Not at the moment.
Oh,
like,
wait,
Not,
so
I'm
wait,
not
wait.
ready. Like financially.
Okay.
Okay.
Like
Y'all don't get it.
you don't get it. Like
No,
you know
I'm
what
just
saying?
fucking with it
Like,
because I'm just like fucking with
Yeah.
it. But
well,
So here's the thing. That Armenian girl or Russian Armenian girl I was talking about, like I'm so into her. Like I would be like, 5 years, 8 years down the line, I can see myself marrying her, and maybe having a kid with her. I'm just like, it's like it's little things like that. Like I think like, oh man, maybe we're still friends. Like I haven't seen her for like a year and a half, but it's like one of those things where like that would come into play, like religion or culture or like things like that.
But then the thing is, I feel like if you really think of that person as the one that you see yourself with for the rest of your lives, you have to come to like a compromise. Exactly. Like you have to understand each other, and like I was gonna say like I'm literally like grew up in the Philippines, moved here like less than 5 years ago, so like pop culture, history, like everything just goes over my head. Like I don't understand anything, and he explains it to me, and it's.
Let's talk about how you were telling them when you were in Florida.
What?
You were
What?
the soul food. She was introduced to soul food in Florida, and she said she's basically black because she was eating cornbread and greens. And
Okay, I think we've all said it.
No, like my argument about that is because like when I first moved to America, my mom is married to a black guy. My sister is Haitian. So the first culture, an American culture that I was introduced to as someone fresh off the boat, like I don't know anything.
Who was it?
About, what?
What kind of people was it?
What?
What kind of people was you introduced to?
I was like black people.
Hey, what you say? Okay.
About this. But it's true. I don't mean it as like when I said that to my boyfriend. It's like, Katrina, you can't say that to any other people. You're gonna get sucked in the face. And I was like, but I don't mean it like in a negative way. I mean it as like that's like the first thing that I was just like introduced to and exposed to in America. You don't like you have to understand for someone who's lived her whole life in a different country, in a different culture, everything different, and you come here. And that's just like
you're used to eating like dumplings and pancit and all that, and now you're eating like beans, greens, tomatoes.
Chocolate roll,
exactly. You know what's about.
double roll.
That's what,
But yeah, so
Jollibee.
exactly. Yeah,
It's good for Jollibee to KFC and churches.
Popeyes. Thank you,
Actually, not too long
sweetie.
ago.
You had Jollibee?
Yeah, for the first time. I loved it. Oh my
Isn't
God.
it good?
Really, really
That
You
good.
were a hater.
No. Okay.
What is it? Because I've seen one on.
It's on
Beverly.
Beverly. It's on
On
Beverly.
Vermont.
Yeah.
It's like a Filipino
It's
fast food restaurant.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the biggest like fast food. It's like, you know, like McDonald's in other countries is like number one, like fast food. It's the only country outside of America that it's like they beat McDonald's, which is like kind of, I guess,
In the Philippines?
that McDonald's had to adapt that they actually have fried chicken and rice and spaghetti
To compete.
to compete.
Yeah.
And then when I moved here, I'm like, where's the chicken? And it's all it was
You gotta go somewhere else for
You
that.
thought McDonald's has chicken here because out there they have it. Okay.
So
Yeah, of course.
And
In other countries, you have to accommodate. Like, I think it's
like in
kind of-
Japan and
Yeah,
like all
or
those
Japan.
stuff.
They had macaroons at McDonald's and donuts in Australia.
So then I get here, it's all
Yeah.
burgers.
How was
Gotta
that?
lie.
Oh, it was lit. I'm doing that podcast soon about the trip to
I
Australia.
wanna
really?
comment on that because I've been there
So
multiple
Oh,
times.
tell me.
I've been all
Even more
across
jealous.
Australia.
Did you go to? I went to Bondi. That was the best one I got to go to. Bondi
Whenever I go there, I go like on tour, so I hit all the major cities: Sydney, like Melbourne,
Melbourne,
like,
Perth.
like Byron.
Beach. Is that a major one too? Okay.
Perth is like the west side,
Okay.
the west coast. Like that's its own like little side over there.
Mhm.
But yeah, we make a trip out there. And, like
Yeah.
that's a whole different culture. That's like amazing that I'd like to get into.
Oh yeah, it's lit. I might. Dang it, I ain't gonna have no space. But we'll talk about.
But back on the culture and like the dating region, I had a friend like whose grandparents were like super racist, like
Like,
especially
what are we talking?
Like actual racist.
like
Like
actual
actual
racist, like
racist.
his grandpa used to use like racial slangs, like different words, like
And it would slip sometimes.
no, that's just the way he's raised.
Oh yeah,
I mean-
that's the thing.
Some people are conditioned to believe certain things, or like raised in a certain way to have a
Yeah.
fixated mindset to believe different things.
Yeah.
So obviously, still down in the South, they try to keep whites with whites, and
Yeah.
that's just because how they're conditioned, and it's no fault other than the way they were raised.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to be compassionate in a way. Like one of my good friends growing up, who used to skate all the time. His grandfather like was in like the war and like did all that and like saw history, and he's very racist, like against
Damn.
blacks, and he's just open about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like sometimes like, oh man, that's messed up, and I'm like, oh I have to understand that that's just how he was raised.
Are those type of people? Because I ain't from the South. I don't want to go to that part. But are those people only racist against black people, or is it like Hispanics and stuff too?
It's a whole mix. It's not just it's just not one race. I mean, I travel all across America still, and I still see some different parts of it. It's not as bad as it used to at all.
Yeah.
It's gonna slowly fade out in time.
Yeah.
When they die.
When they die,
That's just that's the reality of it.
But the younger generation will still hold some of it because they're conditioned to believe that, and it will slowly like fade out.
Come on, you're seeing it in the news still.
Yeah.
Like it's still happening, and they're like millennials too.
Yeah.
I just feel like the problem is that everyone has to make a racial thing, make any incident a racial thing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like-
Like a lot of times, the first thing in the headlines you see is the race of, or it's in there like. Black man in Florida does this, and that even was on Atlanta.
Latino stole another
Florida
car.
man.
Yeah, Latino steals car with 3 kids in it.
Or
different-
Muslim man does this. I mean, that's
Yeah.
religion,
White
but they
House
throw it in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Muslim
yeah.
backpack at.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I always like a good rule of thumb is whenever I like try to date a girl, it's like I have certain qualities that I see before like race or religion.
Yeah.
It's like for me it's like you gotta have like a certain body type.
Hey,
you gotta have like
Super.
Hey, look at
Stop.
yeah, and for me it's like a certain like I look for aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Obviously, but also I look into personality.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
You gotta have that. I forget what it's called. That form. That facial ratio. That's like the perfect. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's like a formula for like the perfect face, and it's like the dimensions of your face like are. Never mind.
Well, everyone's different. I mean,
No.
Yeah.
It's supposedly like your face is perfectly symmetrical and your nose is within a certain shit and stuff.
That's the
There's a
thing.
formula to it, but I don't think the girls all like.
Glad we're all human. We all have different preferences.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have like a certain type. Like, I love blonde white
Yeah.
girls.
Mhm.
But I obviously date outside of anything.
Mhm.
And it all depends on how cool the person is.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the most important part. For me personally, I don't know how it is with everyone, but like you have to connect with someone. It doesn't they don't necessarily have to be this. You have to have the connection, and you have to.
We're all just Legos.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what color. Just put them
Mhm.
Exactly.
I mean, that was a good
That's
little.
That's good.
Do you have any questions for us?
No,
I know.
it was just to talk about if different races accept people, and it was just about interracial dating, period. But more so with your families accepted, and just talking about families that don't. And I don't get it, but I know my mama wouldn't care about what race girl I bring home. Yes, I would have hated myself if I didn't bring up this point. I feel like, as a black man, I gotta throw that out there. No, but
always.
I know.
I'm just fucking with y'all when I do that. I'm just playing with y'all when I do that.
We brought that
As a
forward.
Filipino woman.
Yeah, because that's the only way you can feel.
Yo, man, the Jews never say like as a Jewish man.
No, I'm just playing with y'all when I do that. But I was gonna say, I just had it. Y'all made me lose it.
Damn.
It's a good point you're gonna bring up.
No, I haven't. Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like black people like. I don't want to make it seem like I'm doing some deep ass history lesson on my point, but that black people get put through enough in terms of like shit in the news, just cops and all type of shit like that, to where we don't have time to be sitting around telling other black our kids like, oh, don't go with this race, because we already got enough people against us. So it's like you walking down the street.
Whatever you get, you get.
Yeah, cause like you're no, but like
He missed that. He almost missed it.
No, I'm gonna let it go. But I know what it's like to walk down the street and then have people coming down the street and they cross away from me, or like I remember I used to drive an Audi. I ain't trying to flex, but I used to drive an Audi in like 2012, and I was walking across from my job when I still got the Reds, and some lady was in like a fucking bucket and like locked her doors. And I was just crossing the street, and I'm like, my car is better than yours. I'm walking to go get some food. I'm not worried about you. But I know what it's like to be like followed through a store. Just little dumb shit you go through like being black. So it's like,
you don't have
we already got enough shit coming at us all the time to be worried about telling us like, oh, don't go out and get with other races. Like, fucking do it. Like, because then your kids might not have to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
On as much of this. Wait, let me get this in this out. They won't have to deal with it on the same level as you because they'll be mixed. It's different.
But that creates a whole different problem, because I know a lot of mixed people who, they started off as, who am I supposed to be? What's my identity? Am I Mexican or am I Salvadorian? Am I like this or this? So it just creates a whole different problem. But I understand where you're going, and I agree completely. Like, I already told my parents I'm gonna marry a black guy, or I was just telling them I'm gonna marry a black guy, but I want to marry outside my race for sure. I want to marry a Salvadorian guy for sure. So it's just sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just like, we just got enough shit going on our own to be worried about telling somebody don't go with a certain race. We got enough races against us. Not everybody, obviously you love black people, and you as well. But it's a thing.
Yeah.
So
totally.
just what I would have hated myself if I didn't make up that point that I had in my head.
It was good though. It makes total sense. Like,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, on that subject, I see my sister now. She's like going through high school, so she's like in her phase where like introducing to boys, and like I was saying, and I was like, I never thought about like who's she gonna date? She's gonna date like some white kid, Mexican, like black, and I've seen on her Instagram recently, like she's been hanging out with this black kid, and like he's like Wesley Snipes black, like just because he looks like Wesley Snipes. I was like, oh, I never thought of that. I'm like, that's cool. Like, he's a really good looking kid. I was like, he's like a young little model. So he's got a like fresh cut and all that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I never fully thought of that, but I'm like, I'm open to her doing whatever as an older brother, as long as obviously she's like safe and smart about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's kind of a bummer that it's still it's 2000. We live in a crazy world, 2018. This is such an impact in anything. Like you said, just walking down the street.
Yeah.
Even like my grandparents, whenever I go overseas, I have long hair, and for them, like Europeans' culture is like very short hair. Even like the women have short hair. This.
Oh, damn.
So like my grandfather is like, when are you gonna cut your hair? Like this. So it's like trying to be accepted in like different groups of society is a big struggle too. And I feel like everyone gets that. White people, it's very hard to bring home any other race than white, because white people see white people. Everyone. It's still very racial, where like you should date your own race.
I didn't have any white people to bring on here. I tried to get a good mix, but
I would have brought some white girls.
well, I didn't have enough mics. But at least
I love how you said that too.
At least one or I try to get like a Armenian or like Persian dude to get their side too. Cause
Yeah.
like I know a dude who went with a white girl, and then I'm trying to remember. I think her parents was tripping.
Yeah.
I ain't got a white girl here to talk about it, but I from what I remember, her parents were tripping, and then I know other white girls who could date black dudes, it ain't no problem. And you know that's
like that perspective would be
because you know
good to see.
white people they got a lot of shit.
Well, I mean, this could be just part one of this topic. And
I could probably do this. A lot of these conversations are going to be ongoing, and I just mix it up with different people. But yeah, I didn't know what to say at the end of my sentence.
What? Yeah.
Oh, and I was gonna say to add on to your hair thing. I went through that even when I got. I mean, you can't see because I have on headphones, but
Yeah.
I got earrings.
Yeah.
And my mama, you know, she black. She from Louisiana. She don't care. We live in LA. She don't care. Like when I got my ears pierced, she took me to go do it. I was growing my hair out at a point. Now she looks stupid.
Yeah.
I was growing my hair out at a point because I wanted to get braids, I think, and I was like 12. And she told me if I cut my hair, I could finally get an earring.
I wanted to get cornrows at one point in time.
Yeah, you can do it now though.
I know I can.
But look now, 2018, you might get looked at for cultural appropriation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a thing
and
too.
Things are so sensitive nowadays,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like in 2008, like 2006, like you can go on YouTube and learn how to make crack. Like 2007, like you can do different things. It's 2018, you can't call a fat girl now. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta be so
You
specific.
can't call
about
somebody-
that.
Body pausing.
Like what happened?
And I'm always
Body positivity.
I'm always like very like, you know, I would never call a fat girl in person. You know, if I were ever to use that, you know, you use different, no, nothing like that, nothing to be mean or anything. No, but there's, you know, proper ways to say it, like heavy set girl.
Yeah, or a
different
little
things
plus
like
size.
that. Yeah, a little, yeah, exactly.
This is an
Yeah.
episode that
No,
like,
this is one
we've
that's
been
going to
talking
happen about like body types, different body types.
Yeah.
From like
And
anorexic to skinny to
yeah,
to
Wow.
thick, to double thick.
back
To
to
BBW.
yeah, it's 2018 and different things are like not accepted or like very fine line to
Yeah,
be
you
like
can't call
politically
something gay
correct
no
or
more.
not. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you can be like, man, that was gay.
Yeah.
I just want to shout out to the LGBT community. Don't come at me because I was just making a point.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's
Watch your DMs.
and it's
Oh my god.
it's kind of a bummer that people can't like, you know, everything has to be so sensitive that they can't open up a little and be like, you know, like, oh, I get why they're saying that. Or
Mhm.
just how like we all understand that some people were raised a certain way, that's why they believe what they believe.
Mhm.
It's not mainly their fault, but you know, they were conditioned for that for like 20 years. If your parents raised you to like, you know, only date Jewish, like if they're not Jewish, you can't get married, you can't have like whatever. Then you're gonna believe that. You're gonna grow up to believing that. I've had that instance where, you know, I like Armenian girls, like they don't date outside their race. Like, you know, it's Armenians, keep it with Armenians. Like you marry an Armenian, you move out, and that's how it goes.
And you keep that last name with Ian at the end.
Yeah, IAN, yeah, exactly.
IAN.
And it's more so for them. It's like they had the whole like Armenian genocide. They keep the culture within itself. Like they want like their kids to speak Armenian, like hold the culture in America, and that's understandable why
Yeah.
they do it. Is it right? I mean, there's a gray there. But just how Jews like to keep Jews with Jews, it's because, you know, for them nowadays, like they had the whole same thing like Jenna said. They want to keep their blood like flowing strong.
yeah.
Like, they like to keep the money within the money.
Yeah, for sure.
Things like that.
Even Indian people, how they always have like arrangement, not always, but like there's arranged marriage and they're like,
and still do it.
you
too.
see it a lot,
Yeah.
like they stay within their race as well. And back to what I was getting at earlier is you was talking about your hair, and my mom was letting me grow my hair. She finally wanted me to cut it, and I cut it, and she let me get an earring by it. My dad, he Nigerian. He like, why you got an earring in? That's for girls, blah, blah, blah. It was a whole
Oh,
thing.
really?
Yeah, he was mad as it. Like, I used to have to take it out. I just got a pierce. I used to
So
have to
does
take
it
it out.
say it?
Yeah, when I went to his house to spend it out, I would take it out. I couldn't wear it. And I only had one. I pierced this one myself when I was like 15. And then I would always take them out a lot when I went over there. Then at a certain point, I just said, fuck it. Like, I got my ears pierced. Like, what you gonna do, yell at me? Like, it's an earring, dude. And then when I started growing my hair out, I got dreads if you just listen. Hey. But I'm surprised he didn't say nothing. Because when I wanted braids when I was younger, I think if I would have got him, he probably would have said some shit like, why you want long hairs for a girl? He did, matter of fact. He would always say like, earrings are for girls, long hairs for girls. But now I'm 27, he don't say nothing to me. He watched my dreads go from like nothing to how long they are now, but he ain't never say nothing to me because I think, you know, I'm a grown ass man. I'm gonna do what I want. I love you, mama. No, I'm just kidding, but
I'm
you know.
actually the same right now. I'm barely starting to like put earrings.
Really?
My parents barely putting makeup.
Really?
and
Why?
stuff like that. like, it's not just the whole Salvadorian thing. They're Pentecostal, so they don't believe in penance. They don't believe in, like...
Oh, you gotta wear skirts around them?
No, not anymore. But they,
like were you raised and like...
You have to wear long skirts and stuff? I don't know what Pentecostal, how deep, what they do.
I was raised Catholic at the beginning, but not, like, entirely. And then my dad got saved, and, you know, my immediate family got saved too. And, like, they would just make us go to church, like, 6 times a week.
God.
6 times a week?
My dad would do it like 3 or 4 times a week.
4 times, exactly. So
Like Monday.
I know, I understand that it's, like, mind-blowing for you, but it's, like, so, like
that's...
I mean,
that's
I think it's
it's
crazy
wrong.
as well, but yeah, as I grew up, I was like, you
yeah.
know, my whole culture, my whole family was in church. So, like, I recently, right before I went to school, which I actually went to a Christian university, APU, shout out. Yeah, so before I went there, you know, I was like the youth president and everything from church. And then once I went to this, like, college, I saw that all of these Christian people are not so Christian.
Like, in touch.
Mhm.
They're only
Yeah.
Christian, you know, with their families, or like, I mean, they could be super Christian or whatever, but like I saw that it was just this norm because they're finally let out. They finally get loose, and it's just like 0 to 100, you know.
It's like you're like you're
Christians
free.
are the crazy.
Like it's like you can breathe. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
So wait, what do Pentecostal? Because I'm lost.
Pentecostals, man, that's just one of the stems, one of the branches.
Of Christianity or?
Christianity.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you have to wear long skirts.
Long
You're
skirts.
raised to wear
To the
tights
ankle.
too.
To the ankle.
To the ankle.
And tights?
No tights.
Okay.
But we started this trend with whole pencil skirts, like, you know, being tight and having stilettos and having makeup, and these, like, you know, older ladies, they're just like looking at us and they tell us like, oh, you're wearing like a really tight skirt today, and you know, and they just shame you.
Yeah.
They call you
So
out.
the
They
reason-
said, "What? Okay."
The reason for skirts is because pants will show if you got some cape or what's going on.
No, it's just in the Bible that it says, you know, clothes for men, clothes for women.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
pants
Oh.
were made for men.
Is that why Jewish? I'm gonna do a whole episode probably about religion because I want to know why Jewish people always wear skirts, etc. But is
Why they don't talk to like strangers and stuff. I think
that's the thing too?
Yeah, well, I mean, at least where I work, I, you know, deal with a lot of like people from outside of, you know, the country, and yeah, every time like with Jewish people, they don't look at me, they don't have eye contact with me. It's just the men. Yeah, at least
Wait,
my
so
experience.
even you as a woman, the women won't talk to you either.
No.
Wow. I would have thought
They
that'd be
have-
something like for the dudes, like.
They would look at me like if I was something like a different person, and I was just like, "What? You're the one with like porcelain skin." And
Don't start shaming the Jewish people. No,
I'm sorry.
but-
No, you're right. You're
No.
right. I love Jewish people.
You're right. But damn, that's crazy.
Life is crazy.
Life, 2018, racist parents. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's all I got on it. I don't know if anybody else got any other points, but I think we covered it. That
It was pretty good.
it just is a thing. Some parents are going to accept your interracial relationship, and some ain't, and hopefully it dies off eventually. But in
Yeah,
2018,
yeah.
It's
And I
a
feel like-
generational thing, and
Yeah.
it's sensitive for some, and it's more so you just have to kind of make yourself self-aware on the subject. You know, you also have to kind of be compassionate in a sense and understand both sides.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
for me, like that Armenian girl that I was super into, like I understand the whole like cultural, like you live at home with your parents, like you don't want to take me home kind of thing. But like I understand, like my mother was raised the same way, or this. So, you know, at some points I'd like joke with her, get mad, like, oh, like, you know, just sleep over, you'll be back home like 4 a.m., whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Like, used to make jokes, and like, and for her it was like a serious thing. I was like, no, I'm just kidding. Like, I know how
like
it
yeah,
is.
you get yeah.
I know exactly how it is, because my mom's like, you know, why don't you live at home until you're like whenever, save a bunch of money, do this. So it's kind of, you can't really be mad at it, even if you want to, like, because the truth of the matter is racism still exists.
Oh yeah.
No
Yeah.
matter what you can do, it's there, and it's always going to be there, just because
The way the world is.
that's the way the world is, and you know, and until you make yourself a little more self-aware and like knowing on some facts, that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, definitely do your research.
But yeah, you also have to kind of like, you know, not trying to be the bigger person, but understand like the other side.
Yeah.
You know, you have to understand people were raised this way. You can't change them. Just how like when you start liking someone and dating someone, you like them because of certain things, right? And if you wanna break up with them because of certain things that they're doing, like you know, it's kind of not fair because you liked them initially for that. So it's
Or until you found out about them.
until you found it out. Like a good example is that Armenian girl, like, you know, until
You
that.
really loves this Armenian girl.
What's her name? Just say her name. She broke my heart. What's her name?
How long ago was this?
This was, we actually were like, you know, on and off dating for like a year and a half, but this was like, I probably haven't seen her for like a year because I travel a lot, and then she also has a really good job and she travels a lot too.
Does she live in? Do you know if she lives in LA now?
Yeah. She works for American Apparel, so she like she flies around everywhere.
But they went bankrupt. Are they still?
Like Then I was like, yo, you bankrupt? What up? No. I guess Gildan bought them out. And like, no, they're like, no, she's doing great.
Oh,
She's
Gildan
yeah.
bought out American Apparel.
Yeah, so like they're
They're back
back now.
Okay.
So they're back.
But not at the
They don't have a
factory,
brick and they don't have a brick and mortar though, right?
I
They have
don't
it
know.
all.
Is it
That's
just
right, they have
online?
it online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, no, I haven't seen her for like a year. But it's like,
Let's get her to come on the show. Young lady, whatever your name is, wherever you are.
I'll ask her if she's down, if she's in town.
That'd be dope.
You just rhymed.
I know.
Hey.
Ram down Brizzle. Anyways, you ladies want to close this off?
I would agree with the whole understanding other cultures, just because, you know, yeah, racism is still going to be alive. It's still, you know, how long ago was king and slavery
Right.
and all of that?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it
look at
wasn't
me.
even
You talk
that.
like I don't know. No.
Well, you should know your
got
own.
a tattoo. Like,
I got a big Dr. King and Malcolm X on that.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't that long ago. So, yeah, we just have to understand. And
I mean, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, they date.
No, but
they're dating.
Or they're married.
They're married.
They got kids. They have a house
All right,
together. They're
all
not
right.
just dating.
You guys hear this new song? Scoopity poopity doo.
It was fake.
I don't
Well,
care
but
about
we know.
Kanye too much.
but
no, you do see like, you know, celebrities like that, like
John Legend
Breaking
and Christy
Chrissy
Teigen.
Teigen.
Boom.
What's up, girl?
Ooh.
I love her. Oh my God.
And Prince that's marrying that black girl. Well, she like mixed, but she's black. Does not. It doesn't count.
I've got, I don't know if you guys have seen Freaky Friday.
I
I've
know
seen
what the
Freaky
movie is
Friday.
about.
So there's this one actress, the curly haired one. I love her. I follow her on Instagram. Yeah, she's dating Marcus Mitchell, who's a dancer. And at my other job, you know, we manage dancers and stuff like that. So I'm hoping I get to meet them soon. But yeah, they just had a baby, and she's so cute. Like, she's Latina and he's black.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think it's amazing, and they have a huge like faith in them just being connected to each other, and like God just being between them and stuff. And yeah, cool. Going back to religion. I'm sorry. That's like,
No, take it where you want to take it. I'm about to anyway.
But yeah, I just think that's super cool, and I look up to them a lot because they're
This is what you're gonna be going through.
Yeah.
Connected to the Lord, trying to get you a black man, have interracial babies. I feel you. Do your thing, girl. Shout out to you. That's all I got for now. I think this was a lovely episode. I think it's important we continue these dialogues and whatnot. Look at me using big words and shit. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's it. I just want to thank you guys for listening. Ooh, can y'all start rating me too? There's a rating. You can give a rating to the podcast when you listen to it.
and answer his questions on live.
Man, yeah, follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is in the artwork of the podcast, but my Instagram is Rich Really _ here, and follow me so I can get my damn followers up so I look important, and then engage with me in the comment. Like, I'll be posting up snippets of these. I want people to engage with me. I want more people to come in because I want like different. I don't want a bunch of black people sitting here. I'm gonna say it. No, it's not.
Hey, man,
No, because how can I have this conversation with a bunch of black people? It's like we all have the same point of view. It has to be mixed. Yeah, so that's why I'm like encouraging all my other
Get diversity.
friends, like to come in, like hit me up, dude, because when this shit pop off, I'm gonna remember who came through. I'm gonna throw a big party for all the guests. Hey,
Hey.
but
And he's gonna make you sign something.
oh yeah, well not I have a wall that I'm building of a poster to sign for everybody who will be here. So I'll just check the list. If you're on the list, then boom, you can stand up. But
when he closes this out, just remember, it's not about what race. There's only one race, and that's the human race.
that was such a white thing to say. I'm just kidding, but yeah, that's what we got for this episode. Thanks, listening.
Peace.
And yeah, peace.
Bye.
He said there's only one race.